Welcome. Thank you for joining us for our next edition of our 49er Industry Chat. I am going to pause as we welcome everyone into the webinar today. Hi, my name is Noemi Guevara, and I'm the Director of Alumni Engagement here at California State University, Long Beach. We thank you for joining us today for our 49er Industry Chat. Before we start, I would like to let you know this session is being recorded and it will live on our website at csuob.edu/alumni. We also encourage you to use our Q&A box located above or below your screen to submit any questions for our guest speaker today. And now it's my honor to introduce our guest speaker, Jasmin Duckworth, is the Recruitment Director for the West Region at Teach for America. She leads a team of campus recruiters as they seek the most talented and diverse students at 60+ universities and colleges across 4 states, including California, to join the movement to expand educational equity. During the pandemic, she was part of the IGNITE Tutoring Fellowship pilot that provided a virtual and paid fellowship to over 150 undergrad students to accelerate academic progress to children in low-income communities in Phoenix. She has also co-led the Immigrant-Refugee and Allies Affinity group, and she was selected as a 2021 Organizational Learning Fellow. At age 13, Jasmin and her family immigrated to the United States from Lima, Peru, in search of a better life. A divide for minorities became clear to her as she pursued her education, which set off a series of community service positions and many hours of volunteering and involvement in nonprofits. Ultimately, this led to a career with Teach for America, which her passion for DEI, culture, and representation intersects with an immediate, tangible impact in her community, which continues to this day. Please join me in welcoming today's 49er Industry Chat host, Jasmin Duckworth. Jasmin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Noemi. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be able to come back to Long Beach and just share a little bit more about my story and and answer any questions too.
Wonderful. I'm very excited to chat with you, a little bit about yourself and your journey through CSULB and now recruiter for Recruitment Director at Teach for America, which is a great organization. I know you have a PowerPoint to share today that you'll use. So if you want to share now and we could start, our chat.
Perfect. Let me do that.
Wonderful. And I think to kick us off, I know pre-call we were talking about starting at the beginning for you, coming to the United States at age 13, halfway through 7th grade, being a teenager, what that experience was like, just coming over and coming to school here in a different country with a different culture, and how that, set the path to where you are today.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I came when I was 13, as I mentioned in my bio, and it was half of 7th grade. Again, I had just finished. It's so interesting because in Peru, we have the year starts in March, it ends in December, and then I came here in February, a few months after that, and it's like, wait a minute, you still need to do like another half of 7th grade because, the school year works differently here. So very interesting. My mom had already immigrated here and to Long Beach, California, and I was coming here on vacation. And then she said like, hey, you know what? I think it's a good opportunity for you to actually stay and have more opportunities here and being able to, go to college and everything here. And she saw that opportunity for me. She saw that I would be able to pursue my education in another country, but it was tough. It was challenging to come and not know the language and not know the community, not know anybody, and just start from scratch. So my parents left their business back in Peru. They had to start, from scratch here too, and being able to be part of the working community here, and then for me to learn English, to go to school, make new friends. And like I said, it was challenging, but at the same time, I was young enough to be able to, have appreciate it in a way because I knew that my parents wanted the best, for me. And even though it was a tough decision for them and for myself, I came to this country and I learned, and I had like amazing teachers as well, like growing up like here, and then being able to go to middle school in Long Beach. Then growing up, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I growing up undocumented as well, and thinking about what opportunities that I could offer myself, and I can support my parents at the same time. I went to high school in Long Beach as well, and just being able to make friends, being able to support other students as I was developing those relationships, and continue to learned so much and being involved, with the teachers who were like recommending different opportunities for me at the time, and all the way to, yeah, to my way to community college because I was a working student, and I was like, I need to save up. I need to like be able to like have all these resources, different things, because at the time I couldn't apply to scholarships and opportunities that were offered, to other like residents. So I had to find the means and ways, to be able to support myself and my education, and then make my way to Casa Long Beach. And once I was at Casa Long Beach, I appreciated that opportunity so much that it just expanded my leadership in so many ways, getting involved in multiple organizations as well, and having that support from the students there and the professors.
Yeah, and that's one thing I saw on your resume. You were so involved as a student. So, one, congratulations, you've accomplished a lot. And just coming to a different country and that culture shock might be a lot, but you overcame that, and then you're at Cal State Long Beach now. How important was it for you to get involved in the campus once you because I know you were part of many clubs on campus.
Yeah, so I think at the time at Casa Long Beach, I had already created some relationships like back in high school, like through other organizations that I was involved in that community, that they actually reached out to me. They're like, Jasmine, like, have you heard about this organization? I know you're a business student, and I chose business as a major because my family back in Peru, like, they own businesses, they're small business owners there. So I wanted to pursue that for myself. So once I was in CBA, back in the day it was CBA, now it's COB,
Right.
the College of Business, I learned about SAM, which is a Society for Advancement of Management, and I got involved. I actually got elected to be part of the council there, and I serve as the VP of community service. So, creating different events, creating different opportunities for members of that organization to be involved in the Long Beach community, doing like beach cleanups, doing mock interviews as well for students on campus that would be offered not only for members at SAM, but for multiple organizations. We work directly with like APSOC organizations. So AMA was involved, like the HSBA organization, supporting Latinx students as well. So we created multiple events to be able to continue that. And then I was also involved an international business association, and I was also the VP of community service there. So same thing, I would be able to partner with both organizations and then get them to be involved and volunteer at the Long Beach Rescue Mission, be able to, support multiple communities, be able to create different events that would promote leadership development across Casa Long Beach. And yeah, so that was like the time that I spent at Long Beach. I was like, oh, I love these organizations. I love the opportunity to continue to be involved with other students, to continue to support that community as well. Like that definitely resonated, and that was part of like my values and my way to be able to continue to give back of the community that provided me so much, when I came to this country, that I was like, I need to continue to be involved and continue to offer opportunities. And what's the best way to do that is to be in it. So that's
Right.
how I got involved. And I was like recruiting other people to be part of these organizations as well, because I I was so thankful, for the opportunity to be there and then collaborate with multiple students.
Right. Um, in any of these orgs, did you have any mentors that kind of guided you to maybe explore different careers, or did you already kind of have a sense that you wanted to pursue a career in kind of like recruitment in
Mm-hmm. So at the time that I was involved in SAM and IBA, I actually attended one event and I got to meet the CEO, the president of the Regional Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in Long Beach, and amazing woman. She's an amazing leader, and she collaborates pretty closely with HSBA on campus. And I reached out to her, and I was like, "Oh, you know what? I love what you do. You collaborate. You create different mentorship programs for students on campus. I want to be involved and I want to work with you." And she offered me the opportunity to work pretty closely with her and with her. So that was like my mentor. She said, "Jasmine, you know what? I see this like hunger from you, like to be able to learn, to be able to support the community, and I love that." So we created multiple events like conferences for multiple like small businesses in Southern California. We also created this mentorship program for students from Casa Long Beach to be able to be mentored by alumni from Casa Long Beach and people who were directly supporting this Chamber of Commerce. So we had over like 30, mentees, and then I was able to support that, and I was able to like have them, create different events, different opportunities for them to continue that mentorship. And then, so yeah, so she was like an amazing opportunity for me to be able to expand my leadership again and be able to continue to be part of the community. And she was the one who nominated me to be the 30 under 30 awardee for Assembly Member Bonnie Lowenthal. So I got selected, and this is me right here.
Mhm.
And that's the reason she actually recommended me to the award, and I was one of the 30 under 30 awardees.
Well, congratulations. What a great achievement, in your career
Thank
so
you.
far. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
an
the
honor.
power of mentorship, really, like the opportunity from
Right.
another
Yeah.
Latina woman who saw, like, you know what, like, Jasmine, I see this opportunity. I see that you want to continue to get involved and continue to like develop your leadership and be able to give back. And she gave me that opportunity, and I was able to continue that. And working also like because Dean Salt is very involved with that organization, so we were able to get Dean Salt, to be able to come to all the events, and he knew me by name, and I would like walk around campus, and he would like say hi to me. And but yeah, amazing time at Casa Long Beach.
Yeah, great time. Can you talk about a little bit about the power of networking? Because I think that's what you've done, at that point, networking. And I know a lot of our students, it's not something they teach you in the classroom, like network, because you'd never know. Could you talk about or share best practices or things that, helped you that might help other students?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel it's just practice. When I got involved with multiple organizations at Costa Long Beach, that's because of, part of being a business major, you have to be like, you have to go like out of your way and be part of different conferences, organizations, and events, and all these different things. So I would get to meet different people and just like get, I think like the power of building relationship, because networking is building relationships. So I think just hearing about the other person, hearing about their story, people want to feel heard and seen. And I think that's the power of networking, being able to build those relationships. And the reason why I got involved in, IBA, SAM at Costa Long Beach was because I had built those relationships in high school. I had built those relationships, across, in the community. So, and so yeah, my recommendation would be to take the time to really hear other person's story, because they have so much value to bring you in your life. And I think continuing those relationships, getting to know them on a personal level first, and then on a professional level, because
Right.
that's the power that you're going to be able to continue how, because so you don't develop like surface level relationships. You rather like you're digging into like what they do, why they do what they do. And I
Right.
think that's important. It's like we do this work because there are so many things, in our background, in our values, and in different things. Why I do this work now as a recruitment director is because all the different experiences that I had along the way, all the different mentorships, all the different relationships that I built along the way, and for me to continue to give back to the community. That's the reason that I'm here. So
Yeah. And it kind of perfect segue into like the title of your chat, building a career with impact and purpose, teaching for America kind of marries that for you, helping the community, the recruitment aspect. So you're at Teaching for America, why that organization? And then maybe what is your day-to-day like as the recruitment director there now?
that's a really good question. So the reason why, I mean, I love Long Beach, and I love, obviously Casa Long Beach, and the reason why I put so much effort into like what I do, it's, with what I said, and also because of everything, my passion to be able to give back, my passion to be able to build relationships, my passion to be able to help others succeed and building those relationships. And I learned about TFA through a friend who actually was part already of Teach for America and mentions, Jasmine, I know that you've been involved, like heavily involved on campus. I know you're part of like organizations. I know you were part of like the ABC school district, being in the parent council, policy council, like, and you love like being able to develop leaders. So I feel like Teach for America would be a perfect fit for you. So she was the one who recommended me to Teach for America. And once I learned about the mission, about being able to tackle educational inequity, because it's a systemic issue that we work towards, every day, I felt it really resonated with my own passions, with how I wanted to continue to create an impact. And that's the reason that I got involved in TFA. And you can see like my little timeline here of like my Teach for America staff journey, with starting after someone recommended me to TFA and starting as a recruitment associate a few years ago.
Wonderful. So you get to go to different universities and recruit graduates for Teaching for America. What skills are you looking for in candidates to apply for Teaching for America?
Yeah, so for our program, it's a 2 year full-time salary position to be able to teach in a low-income community across the nation. We have over like 50 regions, and from Hawaii all the way to New York. So we are all over the place, and we work with different, schools, like we work with colleges and universities across the nation to be able to seek, support, develop leaders and people who are, what we call like missionalized, people who are like very passionate about like creating an impact, people who are involved in the community, people who are involved on campus, people who have like a non-traditional trajectory as well. So that's what we look for, people who are passionate about me being able to create an impact, being able to want to learn more about like the issue of educational inequity, because it exists, and then for us to be able to solve this is we have to get closer and more proximate to the issue, and we do that within the classroom. So those are the opportunities and things that we look for: someone who is passionate, someone who is involved on campus or off campus, someone who is like working to be able to support themselves and be able to continue and to give back to the community. Very diverse leaders. Myself, I'm a Latina. Like I said, I grew up undocumented here in California, so we definitely want to be able to support multiple communities, especially BIPOC communities.
Wonderful. So I had a question. I think, do you usually look for candidates in diverse majors, or are you usually looking for those that really have an inclination to that they're interested in becoming a teacher?
That is a really, really good question, and we always get asked. It's like, is it only for education majors? Like, can I actually be involved because I am passionate about like making a difference? And The answer is it's actually open to all majors. So we don't only recruit like education or liberal arts majors, like we recruit all, all majors, and everyone who is a resident or citizen or a DACA recipient can be part of TFA.
Wonderful. So I started to get some questions. You recruit for the West region. Do you place recruits across the country, and how is their location selected?
Yeah. So we recruit, like I said, across the nation. I work directly with schools in California, Washington, Arizona, Nevada. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting a state. But and in Casa Long Beach is actually one of our schools, and we have two recruiters at Casa Long Beach, and we have two campus ambassadors. And how you go about applying to the program, and I can actually believe the link should be somewhere here. I'll add it in the chat in a bit to be able
Yeah.
to start an application. But you actually do have a say where you want to be placed. So let's say that you're going through the process and you're applying to our program. You want to be able to be inside the classroom, make a difference, and you actually go through the process of like once you interview and you go through the process, and then you're able to select your top three regions to be able to teach. So let's say that you're in California, you're at Casa Long Beach, and you're like, I actually want to continue making an impact in California. You do have a say to select that. If you're like, you know what, I actually see a lot of need in New York, or I see a lot of need in another state, and I have family there, you're also able to opt in and be able to select that. So we tried our best, to be able to accommodate everyone and give them their top choices. But like I said, again, you do have a say where you want to be able to create an impact.
So you do Teach for America contract with the school districts, and then after someone is done with the 2 years, is there a possibility they stay in that school, or like that open for them with?
Yeah. So we have a lot of our court members, our teachers, to teaching. Like I said, the commitment is 2 years. And then after that, a lot of them do stay. Over like half of them do stay in the classroom. They want to continue to make that impact. And another part of our alumni do work in multiple sectors. So we have advocates, we have people working in the medical sector, we have people working in DC, we have people working in, you name it, like in all sectors. And they have the opportunity to continue to create that impact because, like I said, this issue of educational inequity is systemic. So to be able to tackle that, it has to come from multiple sectors. It has to be like maybe people working in policy, be able to push different opportunities to provide more access, to the communities. So yeah, people do get the opportunity to stay in the school in their placement school and to be able to teach, continue to teach there, or they actually have the opportunity to move into another sector that they've been wanting to pursue, get their master's, get their MBA, or continue like working in policy, being an advocate. So yeah, there are different ways to be able to continue making an impact.
Wonderful. Do you recruit, what opportunities does Teach for America have open now? Do they accept applications on a rolling basis?
Yeah, so we have our application open to seniors, to grad students, and professionals, alumni. So we do have it open right now, and we have a few deadlines all the way until March. So right now, our next deadline is December 3rd, and that's the opportunity for seniors, grad students, and alumni to be able to apply. And then we have another opportunity for juniors as well. So let's say like juniors are interested and they're like, you know what, I'm not too close to graduation yet, but I do want to get involved. I do want to have an offer. They do have the opportunity to start an application now. And we have our junior application in January. So juniors have the opportunity to also being able to get an offer even before, they start their senior year.
So I know we're in the pandemic still. How did the pandemic affect the placement of teachers for Teach for America? And then how did it affect you and your recruitment
Yeah.
of candidates?
So, I mean, like the pandemic affected everyone, especially teachers, across the nation, and they had to make very innovative ways, may think about like what would be like the best way to support their students as well. So we had our teachers teach their kiddos, virtually, and to be able to, like, our alumni, our school districts, to be able to support that. And then we also had another opportunity, which I talked about in my bio, with like the IGNITE Tutoring Fellowship, which allow a lot of the students to be able to supplement, that opportunity, that gap, the educational gap that they were having, because a lot of them didn't have access, to internet. A lot of them didn't have access um,
A
to receive the
computer.
education that they deserve, right? So to Wi-Fi, like all these different things that we saw during the pandemic that just got expanded, because of that. So we try to think about different ways to be able to support that. So we created this fellowship, where a lot of students, who were undergrads, would be able to apply to a fellowship and be able to have the opportunity to tutor students and support current court members, alumni, as well as they were teaching their own classrooms. So they would have office hours, they would connect with students, support them with their homework, and just, connect with them, build that kind of relationship, and get paid at the same time. So we were able to do that, to be able to support undergrads, to be able to support our alumni, to be able to support students during the pandemic. And it changed, a lot, because for us in the recruitment team, like, we would go to campus a lot, and we would be able to, create different events, be able to meet one-on-one with students. And we didn't have that opportunity during the pandemic, and we had to get, creative and think about, like, okay, we use Zoom on a regular basis because a lot of people at Teach for America, we work remotely across the nation. So it's like, okay, how do we use the systems that we already have in place for our employees, our staff, to be able to do that, for recruitment? So we did that. We were able to use like Handshake a lot, LinkedIn, Zoom a lot, to be able to continue our partnerships, because we work with multiple organizations, across campus. We work with career centers, we work with um, like student organizations, and then to be able in different departments as well. So it's like, how can we support you to be able to continue to offer like workshops, DEI workshops, leadership development, like resume workshops, like all these different things that we would be able to provide to undergrads. We did that like to through a virtual like platform. So we
Wonderful.
continue that, and we're able to get as many people, interested. And then meetings, everything changed, to a virtual platform. And yeah, it was an interesting time, but we also noticed that we were able to reach so many more students that way.
Right, right. Do you think Ignite is something that will continue past
Yes, that's
the pandemic?
so it started as a pilot program last year during the pandemic, and we only work with our Phoenix region. We're like, oh, do you think, like, with everything that we had, like a fall cohort with 100 plus students, then we had the rest of the cohort with like the spring students. And actually Ignite, because it had such a huge success, for the region, for the students as well, and for the fellows, that it got expanded to working. Now we have it in 10 different regions across the
Wonderful.
nation. And now we're not only having 150 undergrads, being involved in this program, but we have over, I'm trying to remember the exact number, because our goal is to be able to reach like 1,000, like have, or close to 1,000 fellows. But yeah, so we have it across the nation now, and we're working with multiple regions, multiple school districts.
Wonderful. Congratulations on that. You referenced educational divide for underdeserved communities. How does Teach for America address the divide? What measurable outcomes are teachers expected to meet during their 2-year placement?
Yeah, so as the picture that you see it here on, like, equality, equity, right? We know that, like I said, educational inequity is a systemic issue, and it exists because we have had like systemic, racism. We have had like all these different issues like across like gap raised at over 400 years. So that's the reason that it's like a different educational divide and educational opportunity gap for so many students, especially in low income communities. So that's the reason that we with Teach for America, we address it through like an equity lens, not an equality, because equality means like giving every single student, every single person the same thing, the same tools, the same resources, the same opportunities. And with equity, it means like meeting people where they are, right? So like it has the picture right here, and that's the same approach that we do like for our students. We can't provide the same kind of resources, the same kind of tools like for students, for young students in LA that we can provide students in New York, that we can provide students in Miami. Like they all need something different. And now, so when our court members like they are accepted into our program, the 2-year program, we train them, we coach them, we have our network, of our alumni to be able to support them and to be able to train them through like all these different things, that the problems, that they're going to see firsthand within the classroom. And how we approach it is that because we need to be proximate to the issue, as proximate to everything that's going on at heart. So they go inside the classroom, they directly work, with students in low income communities. They see firsthand what's happening in the
Right.
communities. And I think like right now we have this major gap of like leadership because a lot of people don't work directly with the communities, so they're so disconnected to what's happening, with like, oh, well, in the pandemic, right? Like a lot of people are like, oh, well, maybe everything will be, maybe if we provide this kind of opportunity, everyone will be able to attend. Let's say like a virtual opportunity, right? But at the same time, like, what if this person doesn't have Wi-Fi? Or what if this person actually needs to work at that time? What if, there's so many things in between
Right.
that it's happening in the communities that people are so disconnected from it that they don't have that level of understanding. So that's how we are able to have our court members like teach within the classroom so they see firsthand. They're working in partnership with the communities, they're working in partnership with educators, they're working in partnership with the parents who are supporting their kids, through like all these different things. So that's how you develop, like you get pushed. It's a challenging opportunity, but it's so rewarding at the same time because you're able to learn firsthand of like what's going on in our broken system, of education that we're trying to fix, day by day.
So as part of their commitment also to get immersed in the community that they get in place to better understand their challenges as well.
Yes, yes. So we definitely support that. We offer different opportunities for our current core members and alumni to be able to work in partnership with our communities to have a better understanding, right? Because it's like you're not going to be expected to learn everything right away, especially having like students go to like let's say from LA right to Chicago, like and not having that kind of knowledge or like how the systems work, there and to be able to. So that's the reason we pair them with like coaches and then to be able to like share that kind of information. They go through different workshops, they go through all this different training and then to be able to work with to learn more about that community at first before they support the students there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Now I want to do a little shift, like to talk about you. Can you talk about your professional journey towards becoming a director? What skills and accomplishments help you reach the role you have today?
Yeah, so like I was sharing, right? Like every single step of the way since I came to this country, well, like whether that was like building relationships, like early on, the power of networking and going to like attending Casa Long Beach, being able to be part of organizations, having wonderful mentors, and then learning so much from them, being involved in that community, and I think has helped me so much. And then to be able to, I think, have like a sense and into like everything that I do has to be connected to my passion and to the work, what's important for me. And then here at TFA I've been developed so much as well when since I started as a recruitment associate back in 2017, and learning more about like strategic like data, thinking about like, oh, what is the best way to be able to recruit at like 20 plus, schools, universities. So all these different things, and thinking about adapting to change, because not everything, like we have seen, right? Like it's like everything is changing. Everything is like we have like different transitions, or we have like different opportunities for growth. So just being open to like operating in a gray space, and just thinking about like building those relationships at the same time, things that are under my control that I'm able to continue to push, and like I said, supporting others, being able to, I feel like the more like that I get access to, the more opportunities that I do get, whether it's like inside the organization or outside. I'm always thinking about, if I get invited to the table, I want to bring others to that table. And that's
Right.
something that is always on my mind. If like I'm part of so many minorities, and it's like if I don't see the diversity here, like something needs to change. So I always think about like, how can I get involved? How can I create opportunities for others? How can I work with other recruiters? How can I work with other people who are doing this work and who are passionate about like creating change? And that's what like drives me into like how I started, to get really, really motivated into developing myself, being able to have different challenges that would get me to like other opportunities, and then bring others along the way.
Wonderful. Thank you. I did mention that many of the people that signed up for today's webinar have graduated within the last 10 years. Uh, how do you believe, recent grads or new graduates need to prepare when entering maybe a recruitment field, and what skills and experiences might be a requirement in order for them to be successful?
Yeah, so like I was mentioning, right? Like I got involved with Teach for America and the recruitment team after graduating from Cal State Long Beach, and I didn't know about TFA back then, but I was already doing multiple things that led me to that path. So I think like for me, I would definitely recommend, like being open to like learning more, even if it's like, it's like something different. It's like recruitment, maybe you haven't done it before, or you're thinking about like what is like the best way about getting into the field. And I think it's just reaching out to people who are doing the work, just having like attending coffee chats, or like attending like scheduling one-on-ones with people who are already doing the work, thinking about getting mentors as well, because it's like the power of mentorship is so so huge. Continue to network, thinking about like where are you currently involved at the moment. And recruiting is all about like building relationships, and I
Yeah.
know I've been mentioning it like multiple times.
You have to really
um
be a people person.
yeah, and it's just like it's a great opportunity to think about how you can support others, right? And I feel like it comes down to that. It's like making building those relationships, like personally, like getting to know a person like on like what motivates them, what brings them into this world, like what they do, and then be able to like support that growth. So that's recruitment. It's like when we're able to build, like when we're able to connect, at first with someone, and thinking about like, oh, what are they doing right now that they are thinking about how they want to grow, how they want to get developed, how what kind of skills they want to improve, and what kind of opportunities I can offer, for that person. Or I think this opportunity would be a great fit for him, for her, for them, like because I feel that that would be actually something that is completely related to what they've been doing and what they're passionate about. So that's what it comes down to, of like a building relationship. And even if you're like, well, Jasmine, I'm a little shy, I don't know how I can get started, or I can know, and if I can talk to multiple people and tell them, about the organization, or tell them about the work, it's okay. I'm a little shy too, so it's okay. So recruitment is it's a great opportunity, I think, like to be able to create an impact and offer growth, development, skills, all these different things to other people. So that's the reason that I do recruitment, because it not only it's so, I feel it's so rewarding, so meaningful to be able to think about what opportunities, what projects, what things, that I can, what any opportunities that I can offer to current undergrads, current alumni, current like people who want to be able to, even if it's switch careers, even if they're thinking about like what is the best way to get into the field or be a recruiter, there's an opportunity for that, and we also offer that for alumni.
Wonderful. As a recruitment director, how do you motivate your team?
It's so interesting that you're asking that, because I actually have one of my teammates here and in this call, but yeah, I feel like for me, I've been again mentioning this, but getting to know them personally, thinking about like since since I started, working with them, of like getting to know them on a personal level, like their passions, what they do, and being understanding as well. For me, culture is a huge part of like what I do, and I think for my team, I think about like what motivates them, what is important for them first, like family. They have like, maybe they're pursuing their masters, maybe they're pursuing other things, like they have different priorities, and at the same time, how can I provide a space that they can come to this work with like their best version of themselves, right? Like, and then I think like I'll usually promote of like, I ask them how they're doing. I ask them like how, what's going on with their lives, like what they did, last weekend, what are their plans, for Thanksgiving and different things like that. Because like building those relationships, having those conversations
Right.
is so key at
Yeah.
first. And it's so easy to forget for some people. It's like, okay, let's get into work. Let's get
Or
into the
get down to
things.
business.
Right. And it's like we forget about like
People.
people, exactly. We are people, like we are not connecting. We live on this virtual world right now, and we're not making the opportunity to build those connections, to build the opportunity to show that we're human. And yeah, there are times that we need space, there are times that we need a break. So I usually motivate my team of like, let's get into the things. Let's talk about like what's going on with your lives first. Then let's talk about work. Then let's talk about how I can support you and help you to get us into whatever goal that we're working towards like the next deadline, or towards all these different things. And then let's think about like when you're gonna take a break. Let's think about like when you're going to take a day off. Like it's Thanksgiving's coming up. Like, are you seeing your family? Like all those different things, because we can't operate with our best selves if we're not taking that time to take a break and taking care
Right.
of ourselves first.
Definitely. So I know we're up against time now, but wanted to ask, what's next for you? What goals, or where would you want to go from here?
Yeah. So I, like I said, I love, what I do, being able to recruit, being able to work with my team. I love doing that. And for me, it's like continue to develop my leadership. I want to continue growing. I want to continue to supporting and others. So for me, it's like to continue that journey. It would be like growing within the recruitment team, connecting. I have three mentors right now, and I love like connecting with them and for them to give me feedback, because feedback is so key to be able to
Right.
grow. So I want to continue becoming, continuing to be a leader and getting that feedback and continue growing within the organization, because I really believe in the mission and the work that we do. So for me, it would be like, okay, I'm a recruitment director now. What's next? Like I want to,
Right.
continue my leadership and also support others who are part of my team to continue their leadership as well.
And move them up. Um, any final thoughts, observations, recommendations you want to share with, our fellow students or those that might watch after the recording?
Yeah, so please, get in touch with me if you have any questions. I am on LinkedIn. Reach out to me if you are wondering, like, Jasmine, like, what else did you do at Costa Long Beach, or how can I get involved? tell me like how you met your husband at Costa Long Beach, because I actually met my husband at Costa Long Beach when I was part of like those two organizations that I mentioned, and we got married, when we were in college. So that's like another story for later. But there's so many things about my journey that I probably missed. So let me know how I can be of help, because I want to be able to continue to support others, and that's what drives me every day. It's like, how can I get like others to be part of this work? How can I be able to support others as well? So definitely reach out to me at Teach for America. I would say like we have opportunities for you to be part of our corps. So that's our deadlines coming up. And then we also have opportunities and stuff. If you want to hear more, reach out to me. I'll be happy, to share more of the work that I do every day, the work that my team does as well, and all these different events probably that we have at Costa Long Beach, coming up.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for, well, one, congratulations. You're one of our beach couples. We have hundreds of beach couples that, met at Cal State Long Beach and got married afterwards. Some of them got married at the garden. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, Noemi.
Thank you for offering to help our students and our alumni. I know you mentioned you're on LinkedIn. Can you just search by your name, Jasmin Duckworth?
Yes.
And
Jasmin Duckworth.
okay.
And send me a request. I'll accept it. I love connecting with students and be able to just share anything, any advice, anything, because I feel it goes both ways. I learn so much from students. I learn so much from them, and we're able to learn from one another and build that community.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for sharing your story. Congratulations on all your success. And we can't wait to have you back on campus one of these days. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, this session was recorded and it will be on our website. And please follow us on social media to learn about our future chats. And we thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.